Half a day. This is the Hub, Movember to Remember. I'm Jonathan Charfris. In this month's episode, Teen KUAM wanted to focus on men's health, as it isn't talked about enough. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll talk with men who share their stories of battling and surviving cancer, the importance of men's mental health, and one doctor provides insight and encourages men to take care of their well-being. It was back in 2019 when I met Ray Bong Mendoza, and we've kept in touch ever since. Imagine my shock that when back in December of last year, he was diagnosed with stage 3 adenocarcinoma. He shares his story. In December of last year, 37-year-old Ray Bong Mendoza was in the Philippines for a checkup after experiencing some symptoms.
The first checkup that we did was a colonoscopy, and I was talking to the doctor. We were going over the colonoscopy results, and that's when she broke the news to me that it was adenocarcinoma. It was a cancer.
Stage 3. Mendoza saying it was the worst news ever.
I felt like a dark cloud just hover over me, and she was telling me that I needed to have surgery to get a tumor removed, and she was recommending a surgeon to me.
The next steps, he admits, was a bit of a blur to him.
I just remember during that time I was just like so silent, and I was actually tearing up. It's difficult to process, you know, like we always hear of other people getting cancer, whether it be our, you know, God forbid, our friends, our family members, people we know, people we don't know. But it's like, it's so difficult to process when it's happening to you, when a doctor is looking across from you or looking into your eyes saying that it's cancer and, you know, we need to do something.
He recalls his whole life flashing before his eyes.
Like all the decisions I've made with my poor eating habits, my poor drinking habits, my gluttonous, undisciplined lifestyle, it's just like everything was just flashing before my eyes. Like, what happened? What could I have done to avoid this? And it was just a hard pill to swallow. You know, I'm a teacher, right? So I reference it like it's like getting a bad grade times 100,000. So yeah, it was really difficult to process at first. It takes some time. A lot of prayer, and that was my initial reaction. Life flashed before my eyes. I was silent. I thought about my wife. I thought about my son, and just looked to the Lord and asked Him for what I should do.
It was after a visit to the hospital when Mendoza knew he was going to fight and he was ready to fight.
When everyone went to bed, of course I couldn't sleep, and I brought my microphone with me, and I connected my phone. I just wanted to, you know, I just wanted to express, like I just wanted to talk or to write or something, and I chose not to journal. I decided to do like a video vlog. I haven't released it, but it's one of the things that helped me process. And in that video, as I was talking, you know, I'm a jiu-jitsu player, and at the end of the video, I remember I decided that I'm going to tap cancer out. Like, I'm going to fight it. I have a 5-year-old son. I have a wife now, and I decided I was going to fight it. You know, I've always been fighting for my health, and I felt like it was nothing new, and it's just a bigger challenge to take upon.
In regards to a perspective shift, how has his experience with cancer changed the way he views his health and the lifestyle changes he had to make?
Eating habits, I incorporate a lot of fasting. I don't eat as much nowhere near as much as I used to. I'm avoiding a lot of processed foods and sugar, and just trying to really build my immune system and let it do its job, because cancer is an indicator that the way that I was living my life is killing me. So I had to make some changes. Eating habits, getting more sunlight, getting a lot more fresh air, gratitude, less stress. I don't overcommit to a lot of things anymore. I feel like that was one of the things that I was struggling with. I can't say no to a lot of people, so I always want to help. I always want to serve. I always want to do this and that, but when I got hit with the diagnosis, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm serving everyone but my wife and my son.
Mendoza's main focus is to be a husband, dad, and then everything will follow after that. Believe it or not, he says cancer made him realize that more than ever.
Nowadays, like, I'm truly grateful for the gift of life. It sounds cliche, right? We hear that tomorrow's never promised, life is finite, and man, when I was diagnosed, the first 3-4 months, it was really, really a roller coaster of emotion, and I had some really sad moments where I would think, like, what's gonna happen when I go? You know, my son's only 5. I just got engaged not too long ago. What's gonna happen to them if I'm gone? Am I gonna make it to my next birthday?
Today, Mendoza and his beautiful wife, Rowena, are now expecting their second child early next year. And as lifestyle changes and his courage to fight, he is now stage 2. Almost a year later,
Here I am today, and I'm a lot healthier, and I'm just a lot more grateful. I'm a lot more grateful for things. I really appreciate the time I have with my son and my family. I feel like I gained a really good perspective in what's important in my life, my faith, my family.
and for any man watching, Mendoza says he can totally relate to men who are scared to get checked.
I was experiencing symptoms for months before I decided to get checked. I didn't want to get checked. It's almost like one of those things that you wish will go away, but it didn't go away. So I ended up getting checked, which is of course the right thing to do, and the best thing to do is because it's better to know. It's better to know what we're dealing with, and early detection is good, but I think prevention is even better.
As we recognize Movember, a month dedicated to men's health, including prostate and testicular cancer, mental health, and suicide prevention, I couldn't help but think of my Papa Bill. He's one of the strongest men I know. Tonight, I'm sitting down with him to discuss his journey and his heartfelt message to other men, filled with love and urgency this Movember. For as long as I can remember, my Papa, Bill Paulino, has been the strongest, most unbreakable man I know. Someone who could withstand anything. And in 2018, even a prostate cancer diagnosis couldn't change that.
I said, wait a second, doctor, there must be something that is actually definitely wrong with me. And then he sat down and he looked at my records again. And there was something that he said, you know what? I can see that there was nothing done in regards to the PSA. PSA is an examination to determine the numbers, whether you really, it calls for some kind of examination. And definitely my numbers were already very high. And so when I saw I went to the cancer center. That was the Island Cancer Center. It was already malignant. And I was told that, definitely I have cancer and it's already malignant.
The diagnosis shook our family and sent him on an intense journey through daily radiation treatments, hoping for just a few more years together. To note, data from the American Cancer Society shows prostate cancer is the most common cancer diagnosis in men in the U.S., accounting for 30% of male cancers in 2025.
That was really horrible. Going through radiation treatment every day, and you just don't feel, like yourself anymore. And so, worry began to sink into my, my heart in regards to, the cancer that, was facing me. And so so death
But even as the daily treatment often left him nauseated and tired, his spirit never weakened.
But then I had to tell myself, wait a second, this is not something that I should be facing. It's something that you need to also understand, that it's something that you have to maintain as a good environment, not just outside yourself, but within your heart. And that was something that I needed to make a change.
And my papa took that to heart. He turned the waiting room at the doctor's office into a place of laughter and hope, what our family fondly called the breakfast club. Every day he'd sit and chat with other cancer patients, strangers at first, who soon became friends.
And I remembered sitting down with other patients, and they were all quiet. And so one day I just stood up and I said to the guys, I said, wait a second, guys, we're not ready to die. So, we got together, we were barbecuing.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, and so, I developed a friendship with people there. Yeah. And I thought that was a beautiful thing, just getting together, sharing, not just the food that we were eating, but sharing that relationship, developing friendship with others made a difference.
With my Grandma Mary by his side and our family cheering him on, my papa kept going.
With a good mind, having a good relationship with people, giving yourself simply your heart, surrendering yourself to God, I know that I'm going to beat the 5 years.
And today, he's still here, still playing the piano for the St. Joseph Church Choir, still bush cutting, still living life to the fullest, 7 years strong in remission.
I see the doctor even up till now every 3 months. I want to make sure that, I'm okay. So you do not wait until you are, suffering, because then that becomes a problem. Who knows that your health issue at that point has exacerbated already. And you need to take care of things before they develop into something like, what I was talking about malignancy.
And what could have gone undetected if not for his own advocacy, he now turns into a message of urgency and hope this Movember.
But my piece of advice with the men out there, you know what? Go see your primary doctor and talk to your doctor and be persistent when you know that you're feeling, you have this thing within you, our innate being, that something is wrong with us, then we need to be persistent. Be stubborn about it and say, hey, wait a second, doctor. There is something wrong with me, so don't tell me that nothing is wrong, because I would have been gone, from this earth.
As we bring awareness to men's health this November, the conversation can't happen without tackling mental health. On average, men are less likely than women to seek help for mental health issues, and that silence can sometimes lead to deadly outcomes. Here on Guam, experts say cultural expectations and stigma can make it even harder for men to open up. But one man from the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center is hoping to change that, starting with his own story.
Generations, men have been told to, quote, toughen up and hide their emotions, but that silence has come at a cost. And here on Guam, mental health experts say it's time to change that.
My name is Brandon Holm, and I am the Social Marketing and Communications Manager at Guam Behavioral Health for our Youth Suicide Prevention Grant known as the Focus on Life. So we know that men experience suicide at a disproportionately higher rate than women. That's what the data has shown us consistently over the past decade. So that's the number one reason why that we continue needed to talk about this. What we also know is that men are less likely to talk about their emotions and talk about how they're feeling, and in turn are less likely to reach out for help if they need, and to reach out to services. So months like this and conversations like this are very important, because we just kind of start normalizing the conversation and showing that it's okay for us to talk about these things.
According to Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, depression, loneliness, and substance use remain some of the most common challenges facing men on island, but often those struggles are hidden.
There's a variety of different reasons for that. So like, from a young age, from when we were growing up, our families are telling us that we need to be strong and we can't show weakness, right? You hear, boys don't cry, boys will be boys, toughen up, man up. And so we're taught that silence equals strength, and that's not necessarily the case, and that's actually doing more harm than good.
And on a small island where everyone knows everyone, that silence can feel even heavier.
We live in such a small community that everyone knows everyone's family and everyone's business. And so we don't want to bring shame, or we're told not to bring shame to our family, and we can't talk about those things. So I think that plays a key role in why men don't open up and talk about their mental health.
But Holmes says breaking that stigma starts with visibility, seeing and hearing real stories from real people.
Doing stuff like this, being upfront and talking about it is one. We have like our social media channels where we'll talk about men's health. Like in June, we had this whole video series with men where we asked men some questions like, what does men's mental health mean to you? When was the last time you cried? What do you do when you're not feeling okay? And so by putting men at the forefront and showing real stories from real people, I think that's a game changer for sure.
Families and friends can also play a major role. Knowing what to look for could help save a life.
We teach them to look for three things. So what they say, how they feel, and what they do. So they can be talking about making statements of like hopelessness. So like, there's no hope, I feel like a burden, I should just end it all. Then you have things that they're doing. So maybe they're withdrawing from activities that normally would bring them joy, or maybe they're giving away their possessions. It might be showing up in other ways like anger and irritability.
Guam Behavioral Health offers a range of services to support men, from outpatient counseling to crisis intervention and peer programs.
At Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, we offer a variety of different outpatient and inpatient services like counseling, therapy, social work. We have crisis intervention like the 988 lifeline that people can call, text, or chat with. On top of that, we also have our rehabilitation services and peer support for those struggling with substance use issues. And then we also have our prevention services where we try to get ahead of the curve by going out into the community and offering free trainings for the community on how to recognize signs and symptoms of stuff like suicide or substance use, doing presentations at different community spaces or schools.
For Home, this work is personal. He knows firsthand what it feels like to struggle and to find hope again.
So there was a time, I recall I had like this really big breakdown. Yeah, call it what it is. I was going out, I was young, I was going out a lot, had a lot of friends, a lot more social connections than I'd say that I have now. But I've never felt so alone. And so I remember heading home from a night out, and I was just driving, windows down, music was playing, and I just started crying. And I didn't know what was wrong. I just started crying, pulled over to the side of the road, and it just felt like all the emotions that I felt bottled up in those feelings of isolation just kind of came out at once, and like I screamed and I yelled. I continued to struggle for a bit after that, feeling alone and still putting on this facade that everything's okay, and I'm sure a lot of men out there know we get really good at that. But I was able to find my light and I found my wife. Finding my best friend and someone that I could open up with and talk to and really tell her how I feel, and her being able to listen and just sit there and not try to fix or not try to judge me.
It's that kind of understanding, being able to listen without judgment, that he hopes will help other men begin to heal. And before our interview ended, Home had a message he wanted to deliver directly to any man watching tonight who might be struggling in silence.
I know it's hard, right? I've gone through it. You're going through it. I can't imagine what it is you're even going through right now. I know it's not easy to open up and to let yourself be seen and to be heard, but sometimes the hardest choice to make is usually the right choice. Reaching out doesn't mean that you're weak, right? I think we confuse vulnerability with fragility, right? Being vulnerable means that we're putting our trust out there to the people that we're trying to connect with, and that is strength. And so please reach out, and if you feel like you don't have anyone to reach out to or that hope is lost, know that there is other help available out there. You can always call 988. You can always call Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. There are people that are here willing to listen to you and willing to help you.
If you or someone you know is struggling, help is always available. You can call or text 988 or contact the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center anytime. Remember, it's okay to ask for help. For The Hub, Movember to Remember, I'm Atsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Beyond the mustaches, Movember has a deeper message, encouraging men to take charge of their well-being. Here on Guam, where culture and family are everything, it's easy to put others before us and brush off our own health. Dr. John Taitano, an internist, joins us to share why it's so important for men to make their health a priority. Born and raised on Guam, Dr. John Ray Taitano's medical journey began with a promise to serve the people who believed in him.
The people of Guam, the government of Guam has sent us to medical school, paid for education, so we're here paying back with service.
And after earning his doctorate of medicine from the University of Hawaii, he returned home to do just that.
The doctor's clinic has been here for 45 years. Since 1980, we opened our doors, and we've been very, very proud of serving the people of Guam.
Dr. Taitano says one of the biggest challenges in his decades of practice is getting men through the clinic doors before it's too late.
Many people, like I said, they don't get checked because they don't feel bad. And when they come in, we find out that they have diabetes, high cholesterol, and heart disease.
He adds that culture and societal expectations often play a role in this hesitation.
Men have the persona that they're tough, they're never going to get sick, they're indestructible. And the reality is a lot of wives and girlfriends bring the men in, because men usually are very proud, they don't want to see the doctor. And lo and behold, many people come in and they get diagnosed with diabetes for the first time after losing 50 to 100 pounds. They come in with chest pains and they're found to have heart disease. When they're very young, many men don't see doctors because they're very healthy. The reality is, though, as they get older, things start creeping up, like hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, and these things can change a person's life and cause sudden death, sudden cardiac death. So it's just a matter of educating our men, if you will.
While younger men tend to stay active, Dr. Taitano says age shouldn't be an excuse to stop moving, especially when diet and lifestyle habits often change little with time. Overeating and underexercising can lead to obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease, all of which are preventable with simple, consistent care. He encourages men to view regular checkups as strength, not weakness, and to make annual visits part of their routine.
Important because when they go to the physician, especially for their annual physical, we do the history, the physical, and then we discuss their medications and the labs. This is the way for men to find out what kind of issues that they have to deal with. It's a way of checking for prostate cancer, colon cancer, diabetes, hypertension, etc.
He affirms that education is key, both in clinics and at home, to reshape the conversation around men's health and build better habits for future generations.
I think education is the key. When I talk to parents and grandparents, I inform them that we are role models, and we need to be good role models for our children and our grandchildren, whether that means that we need to exercise on a regular basis, watch our diet, above all, no smoking and no drinking in excess. So when they grow up, they become healthy as well.
He adds that smoking and vaping remain the most preventable causes of death, and that quitting is one of the best decisions anyone can make for their health.
I think it's important for individuals to set up a target date, and if they're interested in stopping smoking, we're here to help. There's a program called 1-800-QUIT-NOW, and it's a telephone program that allows people to get educated in regards to smoking hazards and how to stop.
Dr. Taitano also warns that obesity is a growing crisis, one affecting Guam's youth at earlier ages.
Unfortunately, on Guam and in the world, we're seeing earlier diabetes and hypertension in younger people as a result of obesity. Obesity is a systemic problem, worldwide problem on Guam and the United States.
And he says tackling that starts with awareness and action.
We need to raise a healthy Guam.
From quitting smoking, eating a balanced diet, and exercising, to asking more questions during appointments, Dr. Taitano reminds Guam's men that every small step counts.
Don't just sit there and listen. If you have questions regarding medications, regarding lifestyle, ask those questions, because then you're engaged in your health care, hopefully.
Well, Dr. Taitano says it best. Taking care of yourself isn't just about you. It's about being there for your family, your community, and your future. This Movember, let's start normalizing men's health conversations and making regular checkups a part of island life.
As we close out the Hub Movember to Remember, we extend our heartfelt thanks to the men who shared their stories and their strength, to Dr. Taitano for providing his professional and personal experience to remind us that early detection saves lives. Their voices and their courage shine the light on the importance of men's health. So if something doesn't feel right, don't wait. Talk to your doctor, get checked, because the first steps could save your life. On behalf of all of us here, thank you so much for watching and being part of the movement to remember, reflect, and take action. I'm Jonathan Charles.